Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. Huh. February 22nd. 2 years ago, on this date, the cover of your Trends Journal magazine, from COVID war to Ukraine war to World War. It's 2 days before the Russian military operation. Yep. And what did we say back then? Ain't no way, ain't no how Ukraine's going to beat Russia. But no, you got to swallow the shit. Yeah, go to the fucking Cartoon News Network. Look at all the scumbags they brought on. Oh, we're going to beat them. This is the fucking front page of the Cartoon News Network now. Not one article about the Israel war and the genocide they're committing in front of the eyes for all to see. Go to the Scrudge Report, Drudge Report, Shit Report. Not one word about the Israeli genocide that's happening in front of everybody's eyes for all to see. So, what do we got here? The markets. Everybody's concerned about the equity markets. We don't talk about this shit. Oh, the markets went up today. The S&P surged to new highs Thursday after the chip giant NVIDIA reported much stronger than expected quality results, lifting the whole tech sector. Yeah, the Magnificent Seven. The world economy's going down. The markets are nothing more than a rigged game. And again, we said when the whole chat began in 2023, we said this is for real. It's only going to keep escalating. And again, you go back to your Trends Journal, back when it used to be a quarterly, a newsletter, .com this. Fall issue, 1999, we said the .com bust would happen by the second quarter of 2000. It didn't. It did, rather. This is different. This chat is real. Again, we have a whole section in our Trends Journal about technocracy, and Joe Duran, the technocracy guy, man, that nobody could touch. This is one of his books, Be Human. Yeah, so this is real. So, but then you have to look also what they're saying now. The guess is that they're only looking for bearish sentiment is only 31%. So it's very low. And it keeps going down week after week. But we're only looking at the United States. We're not looking at the rest of the world because that's all America does. Again, you go to everyone. You go to BBC, you go anywhere. Oh, this guy Nalvani. Every fucking day I'm hearing about this. Every fucking day. What the fuck do I care about this? How about Julian Assange? Fuck him. These are the Russians. You gotta hate them. Hey, how about fucking Guantanamo, huh? Where the Americans tortured people day in, day out, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. Fuck that. I cannot tell you how many fucking people are talking about this Navalny shit, about his fucking wife, his mother. There's bigger issues going on. How about robbing freedom of the press in America? None of you little scumbags will have me on anymore. I used to be on Oprah. I used to be on the Today Show. I used to be on Good Morning America. I used to be on Fox and Friends. Fox and fuck you. You're a bunch of little cowards. You can't take the truth. And you're all ballless little pricks that can't fight, that have big little mouths and tiny little dicks. Got it? Anyway, moving on to the markets. Hey, oil prices went up. Can't understand why. Oh, yeah. The Middle East explosion is real. Besides the explosions of the Iranian oil depots that Israel is blowing up, according to the New York Times, American officials, and the Iranians. So oil prices are going up. They're not up there yet, but if this continues, we're going to see a crisis the likes of which we've never seen in the world. And by the way, subscribe to the Trends Journal. We're giving you everything that we can. If every one of you listening spent the grand total of $2.86 a week to support us, we become bigger and bigger, and our voice of freedom, peace, and justice would be louder and louder. $2.86 a week. I'm doing everything I can. If my name was Salentowitz, I'd be a fucking billionaire, because the Jews help each other. And that's not being anti-Semitic. That is very smart about them. The Italians, geloso. They're jealous of each other. Yeah, I got some real true Italian friends like Judge Napolitano and Phil Giraldi. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we got to stick together, and you can't do it on our own. I need your help. Our staff is working harder than anybody anywhere to put out Trends information you're not getting anyplace else. So we're going to keep going on about the economy. You ready? Bad property debt outstrips reserves at big U.S. banks as late payments rise. Yep. This is according to the Financial Times. Late payments linked to offices. Oh, and shopping centers. This is all old news for Trends Journal subscribers. We've been warning about this since they started the COVID war and locked down the country and countries. You got to spell it right. Countries, because that's who locked it down. Again, it's right here. We've been warning about this. Hedge funds bet against German lender over U.S. real estate loans. Oh, wow. Yeah, German mortgage lenders become one of Europe's most bet against stocks as its battle a surge of soaring loans tied to U.S. commercial property. Go back to your Trends Journal. Office building bust. We've been warning about this for 3 years, and the banking crisis is going to come. Eurozone pay growth eases to 18 months. They're so happy that the plantation workers of Slavelandia are making less money, and scum like the ECB, and I can't say the woman running it because I don't want to be called, sexist. Like in America with the scumbag clown playing Fed head Powell and Ms. Fatsha Brut yelling, they're blaming inflation on high wages, and boy, are they happy they're going down. The first slowdown in the figures since the second quarter of 2000 comes after the ECB policymakers said they wanted clear evidence of wage pressures moderating. Inflation wasn't caused by high wages, you fucks. It was caused by all the cheap money the scumbags flooded into the economy when they started the COVID war and your zero interest rate policy. Got it? Calm down, Salenti. Swallow the shit. Be a good little boy and girl. Have no balls. Be dried up. Don't fight. This is total bullshit. They're blaming the plantation workers of Slavelandia for inflation. And they're so happy wages are going down. Bloomberg, German manufacturing downturn unexpectedly deepened. What the fuck you talking about? Unexpectedly deepened. We've been warning about it week after week, month after month, year after year. And get this in your head, Bloomberg. Bloomberg, a little shit that ran for president, not a fucking penny for peace. None of them. None of them. No billionaires putting their money for peace. Only bigging building yachts and giving the plantation workers less money. 43%. Global equities owned by the 1%. 54% of U.S. stocks and equities owned by the 1%. Not a fucking penny for peace. So going back to this article, it's not unexpected. You ready? And they don't even mention this in this. S&P Global Index of the country's industrial sector dropped to 42.3. They don't say that any number under 50 is a deep decline. This is a deep decline. And again, go in your Trends Journal. Whole articles about this before this was written in this week's. And here's the cover of this week's magazine, just to make things clear. America, no ceasefire. We supply weapons to keep bloodying the killing fields. Norsk Hydro hit by weak aluminum demand. Very, very important because it's showing a recession. And this is the language from Graham Keir, chief executive of South 32, a large Perth-based aluminum producer, said demand for metal in Europe was anemic. Paul Kildemo, chief financial officer of the Norwegian company, Norsk Hydro, said construction crash because of high rates and rising building costs. Again, old news. We warned this is going to happen. But hey, the stock markets are up. What's the matter with you? Reuters. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau said on Thursday, that's today, credit card companies' interest on loans was at an all-time high, costing customers about $25 billion extra each year. Hey, you guineas, you mafia, you're charging 10% interest rate. Yeah. Hey, but we're Citibank. We're MasterCard. I just got a new card, 24.5%. That's the rate if you don't pay. 24.5%. This is a crime. It's a crime. Scumbag Card is the one that did away with this, by the way. All right, biggest EV market loses steam. No shit. Why don't you look at one of your top trends for 2024? EVFU. It's right there. Demand cools for EV battery metals. Yeah, no shit. We said this was going to happen. And what else? Oh, Walmart seals $2.3 billion deal for TV maker Vizio. That's great. Vizio, whatever the fuck you owe. Again, the bigs keep getting bigger. And here's one in CNBC. The guy did it from the IRS. Said tax evasion by millionaires and billionaires tops $150 billion a year. Yeah, and they'll keep getting away with it, and the IRS will just keep coming after us. Again, plantation workers of slave land here. Oh, and all you Trump folks, he folked us, boy, with his tax deal in 2017 when he said, yeah, we're going to lower the taxes for the bigs and the corporations so they could invest it into capital improvements. Total fucking Trump. Bullshit. Yep. Stock buybacks at an all-time high in 2018. They did shit about capital improvements. Food takes bigger bite out of wallets. Don't worry about it. This is a front page story in the Wall Street Journal. Poverty soared 23% in New York. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Hey, the billionaires are getting richer. Top UN court hearing exposes long-standing Israeli plans to occupy and annex Palestinian land. It's a great article by the World Socialist Organization. This is stolen fucking land. It's a violation of the Geneva Conventions and Article 242 of the United Nations, and all they're doing is stealing more and more land. U.S. tells the International Court of Justice. Ready? Israel should not be ordered to immediately end occupation. What the fuck are you talking about? You're all paid off. This is disgusting. Can you imagine? Let's change the scenario here. Let's say U.S. tells Palestine should not be ordered to immediately end occupation. Let's suppose that it was Palestinians that was stealing Israeli land and building, quote, settlements. Oh my God, how terrible. What hypocrisy. Top UN court hearing exposes, yep. Aid distribution reaches near collapse after hungry Gazans and people are intercepting the convoys. So you got gangs. People are out of their fucking minds, starving to death. Most Israelis say absolute victory in Gaza unlikely. What, you anti-Semite? No. This is from Haaretz. Yeah. Most Israelis believe an absolute victory. That's what warmongering Netanyahu is saying. In a war in Gaza is unlikely. Of those polled, 51% respondents said there is a low likelihood of achieving absolute victory. But the United States keeps sending more weapons of death, vetoes a ceasefire, keeps slaughtering them. Top UN court, no, that's again about Palestinian territories. Are you ready for this? This is from, oh, by the way, again, no coverage in the mainstream media in America of the Israel war. Claims of Israel's sexual assault of Palestinian women are credible, UN panel says. This is reported in The Guardian, the only place where I found it. And this is today. Oh, no, it's only Hamas that commits. Oh, when Hamas does it, how terrible. Hey, but it's okay. Yep. What else we got here? Israel behind Iranian pipeline. That's what Tehran says. The explosion of the gas pipeline was on Israel's plot. And that's according to the oil minister. Iran, this is great. This is from the Tehran Times. Iran slams West muzzling of free speech in support of Israel. Quote, the West cannot tolerate any narrative different from the one it's promoting. With its control over most of the social platforms, the West obstructs free speech and prevents citizens all around the world from gaining access to the truth. And that's Iran's foreign minister said that. And this is from the UN Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs. It's a whole article he wrote, Martin Griffiths. The world's moral failure in Gaza should shame us all. I agree totally. China did a thing reported by Reuters. China, U.S. veto of ceasefire resolution gives Israel a license to kill. I'm heartbroken what's going on. And it's only going to keep getting worse. Here's an article that just came out. Only 10% of EU citizens believe Ukraine could win. Yeah, no shit. Duh. Took you this long. We keep sending them money. 14 injured in Israeli drone strike in Lebanon's southern town. Yep. And keeps going on. A lot more. So listen, please do everything you can to get the word out. We're doing everything we can. They're blacklisting us, shadow banning us as much as they can. Watch the article yesterday, or the podcast I did yesterday with Judge Napolitano. Very important. And again, I'm not a Trump supporter. I can't stand him. To me, he's a narcissistic guy. Again, I could go down the list of things he's done. Again, moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem because he got $100 million from Sheldon Adelson. Yeah. And killing Soleimani, trying to overthrow the Venezuelan government, his tax deal. He promised to rebuild the infrastructure, to dick about shit about it. Again, it could keep going on. The list keeps growing. But what they did to him with this real estate deal and the money he has to pay, according to the data that Judge Napolitano put out, it's disgusting what they did to Trump on this. So I'm totally opposed to that. I'm a political atheist. I don't look at things the way I want or what I like. It's what is. And I go by the facts. So what they just did to Trump and making him pay this kind of money on this real estate thing that they're claiming is disgusting. Totally disgusting. But that's the way America's gone. Totally disgusting. Here, this is from the Toilet Paper Record. Front page. Biden considers executive order to grid border. Arizona denies an extradition to Manhattan. In San Salvador, above and elsewhere, Latin America, an incarcerated population has exploded. Headquarters for gangs, all right? A tiny isle fights to reclaim its domain online. Not a word about the Israel war. Nothing, nada, zero. So, what they're saying in the Tehran Times is 100% correct. All we're getting, again, it's happened with the COVID war. If you didn't swallow government shit, you believe in misinformation, which I find sexist, calling it misinformation. You should call it gender information. Let's really be stupid. Transgender information. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.
The Trends Journal, the best investment you could make, because it's the best investment into your mind, and it can change how you look at the world.
His work is actually a gold mine. Anybody interested in politics, political trends, economic trends, social trends, cultural trends, you have to follow him. Gerald Celente.
The Trends Journal is one of the greatest sources of information, and and it really is. You're predicting these things well ahead of time. I would encourage everyone to go grab the latest copy.
Been a Trends Journal subscriber for 20 years. I just have to commend you. What you guys have put together in your latest Trends Journal, there's nothing like this out there.
Sir, everything that you predicted about the economy, you were absolutely right. So I have followed you all this time. So please take a look at the Trends Journal.
You correctly forecast that the Fed would hike rates quite aggressively, correctly said that initially gold and silver would drop as the Fed starts to raise rate to 1.5% and above. When we spoke last, Bitcoin was around 49,000. You said you expect to drop, and if it drops below 30, 35, then it could really drop.
Trends Journal, which I would encourage people to go and check out. It's actually a 200-page document, pure data-driven analysis.
Gerald Celente, the top trends forecaster in the world. Gerald, you had an interesting call back in September of last year. You said gold had bottomed, which is exactly what happened. And here we are, and we're above $1,900.
Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happened at trendsjournal.com.